Do you consider yourself a patriot? Do you feel proud to be an American? Do you love this country and what it stands for? I ask these questions intentionally because we're now a couple weeks removed from Independence Day. The smell of barbecue has faded, the haze from fireworks has cleared, and the sea of American flags on front porches has dwindled. But what about the patriotism, that sense of pride and gratitude we feel for this country's founding ideals? Has that faded also? This week on Defending Ideas, instead of hosting an interview guest, I want to talk directly just to you for a few minutes because I think there's an important question we all need to grapple with. What does patriotism require in 2025? To answer that, we can look back to America in 1776, after we declared independence. That's when the real fight began. The day after Independence Day and the many days after that are what truly shaped the future. In fact, what happened after July 4th, 1776 was arguably more important than what came before. The Declaration of Independence was a bold articulation of principle, a statement to the world about why America needed to exist. But it didn't stop there. The men who signed it and the men and women who believed in those ideals had to back it up with action. So here's the question, what's our fight today? If you turn on cable news or scroll through social media, it might seem like the great patriotic cause of our time is just yelling at each other, trading insults, or owning the other side. There seems to be a belief that we can shame and belittle those we disagree with so much that they will just kind of go away. But that's not what patriotism demands of us today. True patriotism today requires something deeper, something harder. It calls us to a vigorous defense of sound principle. But often that means seeking to persuade, not to conquer. And let's be honest, persuasion is really, really hard work. I've had many conversations about politics where someone, kind of in frustration, seemingly throws up their hands and says, "I just can't." Usually when talking about people on the other side of the political aisle. But what if the patriots in 1776 had said that, had thrown up their hands in exasperation and said, "I just can't. I can't do it"? What if the Union soldiers at Gettysburg did that, or the young men storming Omaha Beach, or the countless Americans who've served in our lifetime? What if they had that reaction? What about police officers, nurses, firefighters, faith leaders, civic volunteers, and parents? All those who stand in the breach, as it were, every single day. What if they walked away when things got too hard, threw up their hands and said, "I just can't"? The beauty of America is not just in what it gives, freedom, opportunity, safety. It's also in what it expects, fidelity to our founding principles. And fidelity means living those principles, even fighting for them when necessary. I have people in my life, people I love and respect, on both the political left and right. Some voted for one presidential candidate in the last election, and some voted for the other. So what am I to do with these people in my life? What is my call to fight for the independence, the freedom, and opportunity we so rightfully celebrate each July when there's so much disagreement? At times, it does mean waging political battles, but it must also mean doing so in a way that seeks to bring as many Americans with us as possible, not to divide and deride, but to elevate and unite around principle. Our fight, what true patriotism demands of us in 2025, is to stand firm on principle and embrace the constitutional and civic structure that makes America unique. That means trying to persuade whenever possible, seeking for consensus and common ground when necessary, and trusting in our civic institutions when persuasion, common ground, or consensus simply feel impossible. That isn't easy. I get that. The disagreements today are real, and they are significant over politics and policy, values, character, and much more. Civic engagement feels daunting and exhausting at times, but the work is still worth doing. Because after all that America has given me and you, a land of peace, prosperity, freedom, and faith, can I not offer something in return? Fidelity to the Constitution demands it. Every July, we celebrate not just a historic document that immortalized these ideals, but an ongoing call to defend and live out these principles. That's why I believe that the day after Independence Day is the most important day, and the day after that, and the day after that. because once we've declared our values, we have to live them. We have to fight for them. The founders closed the Declaration of Independence with these words: "And for the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor." You and I, we can still demonstrate that kind of fidelity today, not because it's easy or politically fashionable, but because it's necessary. And when we do, we can look back on patriots of generations past who also faced seemingly impossible odds and did what was needed anyway. And we can realize that we're in good company. That's it for this week's special message on defending ideas. If this resonated with you, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and visit defendingideas.org for more. From the Sutherland Institute in Salt Lake City, I'm Nic Dunn. We'll see you next time.